We're now been joined by another character. Who the heck's just run in here? It's like it's like he's run from the final scene of the movie straight into the radio show.
I just said to him, I haven't seen him look like this since the last day of shooting. He looks all flushed and his hair's all blown away. You know, every time I see him these days, he's groomed, but not today.
Who is this guy?
This is George MacKay, who plays Schofield in the movie. And well done, mate. You just got off a plane.
Yeah, literally.
You are the Phil Collins of 1917.
He won't even know what that means.
No, exactly. No, he's too young. He's gone from Jimmy Fallon to Chris Evans in 10 hours.
It's funny. Like I got off and I was like sprinting down the tube and I saw like a discarded Metro which has got an advert for the film on it and it said "Time is the enemy" and I was like, had 5 minutes to get here. I was like, oh come on.
So you've been on the Jimmy Fallon show.
Yeah.
How was that? What did you get up to?
Oh God, I was really nervous actually. Like it was all right. Like he was really lovely. Like it was grand. He was really friendly. It was very sort of like energised.
Did you have to do one of those things where you pre-rehearse a story you're going to tell? Like
sort of. They, to be honest, they come in and they sort of discuss what.
Yeah,
the
we did that with EC.
be.
They were in at 5 o'clock. Yeah, it went really well. I'd say.
Cool.
I mean, you can play catch up if you like, but good luck.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
right. So now we have both stars of the brand new movie 1917. So, Dean Charles Chapman, your first Golden Globes, I would imagine, over the weekend.
It was, and for George as well, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so how was it for you? How is that experience first time round?
It was amazing. To be honest, we were saying this earlier. We hadn't quite thought about it beforehand. Well, we've been so busy doing bits and bobs and going to different places, we sort of forgot about the Golden Globes really and what it actually meant. And then suddenly you're standing on the red carpet with people you look up to. First person that walked up to us was Piers Brosnan, and I love him as James Bond, and I was like, oh my days, what's going on? It's amazing, but it was an amazing night. Sam won Best Director, and then we won Best Picture at the end of the night, and it couldn't have gone better, really.
Okay, so when you say it couldn't have gone better, hopefully it did get better even after that. What can you tell us about what may have happened afterwards?
What happened afterwards, George?
Did Elton invite you? Doesn't he usually invite everybody round for a sing-along around the piano?
I don't know, I mean...
There's a lot of... I think Elton would have been exhausted. He was up on stage so much. There's normally an array of parties, but the problem is trying to get to them from one to the other. We managed two, but the problem is when you've won, is that... And this is what they don't tell you.
Let's hold that sentence. The problem is when you've won.
Right. The nice problem you have when you've won...
You can only say that if you've won. Go on.
Is that you have to go backstage and you're elated, obviously, and excited, and then you go into a room filled with journalists who really do look like they've been there a long time, tapping away on their computers, and you have to do a press conference. You've got all sorts of interviews you need to do, morning shows, what have you. And by the time it spits you out, everyone else is like in full swing, and you've only just got there, So when we got to the party, everyone was leaving to go to the next one. We were playing catch up. But what about you? You disappeared after the after the various interviews?
Yeah, I went to one more. I was kind of very excited to meet some of the guys from Fleabag, and there was like an extra party afterwards. So I went and sort of hung out with them. But they were a lovely bunch.
And were people aware of who you are and the film you were in, being sort of relative newbies to the scene?
Yeah, I think people who've seen
the
film
they
have
up to
been
speed?
really lovely.
They're up to speed, are they?
Yeah, up to speed.
It's quite weird though, because a lot of people in that room hadn't actually seen the movie yet.
Right.
And one of the great things about winning, and look, it's lovely and flattering, and award shows are great and everything, but the whole point of these things is to try and get you to come and see a movie in a cinema,
Yeah.
So for us, it couldn't be better time, because it's about to open here, obviously, and across Europe, and it's only been playing very limited in the US, and it's about to go wide. So for us, it was an incredible thing for the movie. It just gives it such a boost at the perfect moment, and that was one of the things. But it was also quite clear that there was a number of people in there who had no idea what people were talking about, and the first time they'd seen George and Dean was standing behind me on the podium while I was waffling on, making my thank you speech.
You've made a few of those now. Does it get any easier? Does it get any better? Are you more in the moment? Because I bet you couldn't remember your first few.
No, I blanked out those.
Totally.
But the funny thing about this one is I really didn't expect it. And normally you've got a fair idea when you go in. I think I'm not going to win this one, or I might win this one, and so you prepare. This one, genuinely, I thought we were fifth on the list of partly because
which film did you think
I
was
thought Scorsese would win, and I thought he's Scorsese, for Christ's sake, and The Irishman is an amazing piece of work. But I just assumed that, and I think most other people did as well. But for me, it was a great privilege to be able to actually acknowledge him when I was up there. What I said was we're all of us, all directors, in the shadow of Martin Scorsese, and to look down and see him, saying thank you from below was amazing, actually. So that for me, that was the high point.
Because last night I was talking to my wife, and she said, talking about the movie, I was saying how great your film is, and it is absolutely off the charts good. It's Schindler's List good, is what it is. It's a Boy in the Striped Pajamas good, I think. And she was saying, so is it really one shot? So I said, yeah. So I went to this making of film that you can get on YouTube, and she said, what does it mean? I said, well, it's one shot, but it's not one take. So it's all based around the same shot, single camera, pulls out, pulls in, crashes out, pans. It's all just, you never cut, so there's never a cut. So that's the thing. But there are multiple takes of the same shot. And then the thing, God knows how you've digitized it together. That's really clever. I mean, you go to black a couple of times, there's an explosion, you could do it there, thinking, yeah but that's only 3 breaks, so that would be a half day's film, and it took you like nearly 8 months. So I'm thinking about all this, and then she says, "Well, is that the longest?" Well, I said that isn't a single shot. It isn't a single take. And she said, "Well, what is?" So we started to Google The Player.
Yes.
Which does have this massive, this one take.
Altman, yeah.
Which is a 9-minute.
It's incredible that take. Yeah. I mean, I think the famous ones would be The Player. The beginning of The Player is incredible because it's sort of. It not only is it flows in and out. It's a movie about the movie industry for those who haven't seen it.
It's a bit of a show-off movie, isn't it?
It is, and this shot basically includes about 15 stars as well who are wandering in and out of the studio lot.
All pitching movies to stars,
exactly,
about stars that we've heard of at the time. So it's like Pretty Woman meets what was it, Jumanji or something like that.
Yeah. It's a fantastic, it's a wonderful movie if you've never seen it. And then there are the famous, one shots like Orson Welles begins Touch of Evil with one long shot and all that kind of stuff. And those, and Hitchcock made a whole movie out of it called Rope. There are cuts in there. I mean, of course, one of the things in the old days that people, in a sense, don't really understand until you're talking about one shot is that when you're shooting on film, you can only shoot 10 minutes and then you have to cut because the film runs out. And these days, shooting on digital cameras, that is not the case. So you can do this. And also, in the old days, there were real changes because there were film projection, and again, that somehow with the general public, people have forgotten that there used to be a projectionist in the booth changing reels every 10 minutes or every 20 minutes in the movie. And so you couldn't even really, and there would be a natural jump in the image, because you'd be a little pop when you go from one to the other. So it's only in the last 10 years you've really been able to stitch something together as one completely fluid thing with no jumps. And of course, you're right. I mean, there are some transitions, shall we say, blends, morphs, stitches. We have different names for them that you can probably see when you watch the movie, but there are lots of them.
The Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.